Hey y'all, so I thought I'd throw together this little video on my latest car. I've actually had this one for about 6 months now. So yeah, I'm ready to give it an owner's review. I like to do these owner's reviews where I detail actually owning the car and detailing it versus just going over the features. So this is a 2002 RX300 in dark indigo pearl. And I'll just do a little walk around the car here. So this car goes together with my 1998 SC400 to make like a little Lexus fleet, which I think is kind of cool. They definitely complement each other well. And yeah, let's dive into it. So I added these badges, but this is a V6 and it also is the all-wheel drive model. That is a Subaru all-wheel drive and a Honda V6 badge, so I thought they kind of looked cool on there. I also added a little chrome exhaust tip, but other than that there's no mods to this, so it's all stock, which includes these really cool like mirrored stock windows. I don't see them on too many cars. What's up? Especially they're not on any modern cars, but yeah, they're pretty cool. They keep the sun out and they keep people from looking in, and they don't look quite as mysterious or basic as black tint. They're not on the front windows, but they're on the back. Yeah, so you got these, I believe they're 16 or 17 inch alloy wheels, yeah, let's pop in the back real quick. It's not to clean it, well, it's not too terrible. Like I said, this is my daily car, and your back door panels, pretty simple, pretty nice, all real wood in the RX300. I'll go over some more of it up in the front, but it does have all real wood and nice leather. And these seats are kind of far back right now. They're kind of as far back as they can go, but there's plenty of space in the back. You can definitely fit 3 people comfortably. There's no like hump on the floor or anything. There is climate control back here, which I like. There's a charger or a cigarette lighter, but who calls it that? Along with some storage, and then on the 01 and 02 models, you get this little cup holder, so that's nice, a little light. But yeah, the back is very usable. You also get a little armrest here. Would have been nice to see a cup holder in there maybe, but other than that, it's a spacious and practical vehicle. These seats also come down. I'll show you briefly on this side. If you push this up, it'll go all the way down, so you'll get plenty of space back here. As you can see, mine is just full of junk, random stuff from camping trips, car oil, basketball, whatever. So it's hard to see all the space, but again, I want to make this like a review of my daily driver, so this is what I use it for. But I've moved furniture in here. I've sort of slept back there, not like slept overnight, but on a long car ride while my friend was driving, I slept back there. And then yeah, we'll head over to the driver's side here. A few things to point out that I like about this car. I'm gonna hop inside for a second. I really like these big, huge mirrors on either side. That combined with the really, huge glass windows all around just make for really good visibility in this car, which is really nice. And it definitely does sit up pretty high, definitely like a lot higher than a sedan, and even higher than most like modern crossovers. I feel like it kind of sits up in that SUV height, so you definitely feel higher up on the road, especially for a smaller car like this, which I like. I think with these early crossovers, this was one of the very first crossovers, luxury crossovers ever made. Some people would call it the first luxury crossover ever made. I think it's a little bit more truck-like and SUV-like than many modern crossovers. So you got these little like quarter panel windows here that are very truck-like on both sides. And then you also have this center area that's all open, so it doesn't connect here. And so that kind of gives these, captain's chairs more of a truck feeling. Whereas I feel like in new crossovers, typically, especially, the new RXs are a good example. This all kind of connects and it comes together, and the seats are a little more sporty and low. It has more of a sedan feel, but in the RX300, it's definitely more of a truckish experience. There's also no like sport mode or anything fancy with that. There's, just a very basic 4-speed transmission that's super reliable, really smooth. Not super fun or anything. I mean, you kind of, the only shifting you're gonna get is if you really floor it on the highway. It'll drop down in a third and, like, you know, make a loud and try to pull you forward. But it's not really, you know, it's not really any sort of fun, exhilarating experience. But yeah, you got your 4-speed, and then you also have a snow mode. So if you click that on, it just throws a little light up on the dash, and that indicates that you start in second. And I think it does something with the vehicle stability control in this car that keeps the wheels from spinning in snow. Vehicle stability control is something they added on the RX300s in 2001. And it's just like an electronic stability control in the 4 wheels. I don't know exactly what it does in every scenario, but it just keeps the wheels from spinning. And it replaces the limited slip differential that was only on the rear wheels in the 99 and 2000 model years of this. So yeah, one of the few things that came with that refresh. That also included these wood, you know, accents on the steering wheel and the wood on the shifter. So the 99 and 2000 RXs just had leather here. I used to have a 99 RX actually, and this was all leather. But on these newer ones, on the 02s to 03s, they have wood. So I think that's pretty cool. It's all real. It feels really nice. It's held up really nicely over the past 20 years. So, excuse me. So I really like it. As you can see on your passenger side, it's just some door locks and a little card slot, door slot. Nothing too crazy. You get dual airbags. There also are dual curtain airbags. I couldn't tell you where they are, but I believe they're in the seat here. So I guess maybe not curtain, sorry, side airbags in the seat. It has these cool little armrests. Mine got kind of ripped up, but you know, I covered them up. But they do get out of the way if you want them to, and they allow for each person to have a good place to put their arm, unlike in a sedan or even these newer crossovers where it's just the one. I feel like that's kind of awkward if you don't like know your passenger and you keep bumping elbows, but this one's got the individual, which I like. And then your little center stack here, it has 2 cup holders and some storage down in here, 2 more cup holders up here, and then another storage box down here. So quite a bit of storage in this car, which I like. I also like this little floor tray. I can just kind of throw some random things down here when I don't want to look away from, you know, the road. But yeah, you know, in here I don't have an updated audio system or anything. I just use the FM transmitter with Bluetooth. But honestly, it works perfectly fine. You know, when I first got this car, I thought, oh no, it's 20 years old. I'm gonna need to redo all of this. And on these Lexuses, it's actually really expensive. It was like an $800 job to get a new stereo in here because they have to redo a lot of the wiring. It doesn't just plug and play with the ones that you can like get at Walmart. But this system's actually been working really well. It just connects through the radio to this FM transmitter, and then that has Bluetooth that connects to the phone. You know, it is pretty loud. It sounds pretty good. You'll get, you know, pretty good bass, and I don't have too much distortion or static or anything out of the stock system on here. Also gets your AC controls, so it's not dual zone, but it does have automatic, and the AC blows nice and cold in this one. I did have to do quite a bit of work on that, but finally blows nice and cold, which, as you can see in these Texas summers, today's not terrible, but you know, 93 degrees. Also brings me to this little center console piece here. It's not touchscreen. It's super old-fashioned. It's like the earliest of these little consoles, but it'll give you your climate controls, where it's going, what the temperature is. It'll also give you your cruise information. You can see I'm averaging, where is it, about 17.5 miles per gallon. I do drive this thing kind of aggressively, maybe not aggressively, but I don't always just put on cruise control. Sometimes I'll, you know, try to be sporty in this car a little bit, so maybe that's why it's a little bit low. But you know, it still gives you some good information, and it still works after 20 years, so I'll give it credit for that. Like I said, big steering wheel with nice wood. I love the feeling of it. Doesn't have any buttons on it though, so you don't get any like cruise or volume buttons on here. You have to always go to the center console for that. Speaking of cruise control, it's right here. So it's a little stalk behind the steering wheel. It works well. You have your windshield wipers. There is a rear windshield wiper on this car. Well, maybe you can't quite see it in the mirror, but there is one. Here's your little dash. Super simple. I like it. It's classy. It doesn't look dated or anything. Nothing much to write home about there. As you can see, it has a fair number of miles, nothing crazy. I've put 15,000 on it, so I've put quite a few miles on it. But these cars, I see them in the junkyard, and I see people driving them around on YouTube and whatever with like 300, 400,000 miles. So if I can get 200 out of it, I'll be happy. But yeah, otherwise just a very simple gauge cluster. It doesn't rev too high. As you can see, it's about 6,000 RPM red line, 6,100 maybe. And you never really take it up that high. It kind of isn't, you know, it doesn't like to be stressed too much. But yeah, over here we have mirror controls, security lock, memory seats. Memory seats don't work. That's one of the only things I think on this car that doesn't work. Door locks, all that kind of stuff, window locks. Still looks really nice for an old car. I do really kind of like this whole swoopy feeling in the dash with all the chrome and wood and leather and all that. Up here, just get a nice mirror. It has a little dimming feature, and then it also tells you what direction you're going, so I think that's pretty cool. Up here, we have a sunglasses holder I could be more gentle with. Little map lights, or one map light, I guess. There's a moonroof that tilts, and it also slides. It's a one touch, which I think is kind of cool. But here's a little bonus feature on these Lexuses, is that it doesn't open all the way if you just do the one touch. You have to give it a little extra, and then it'll open all the way. But this is a nice big huge moonroof, which I really like. It really feels like taking the top off this SUV, so I think that's super fun. And then here's sort of the back from the front. You can see it has lights up over the top. I'm not going to go around and open the tailgate. That's a lot of work. Up here we have a little vanity light and a mirror, which still work and still look pretty good. And yeah, that about concludes the interior. There is a glove box and a little tray down here for some extra storage. But yeah, I think I'm gonna head back outside for a second and wrap this up. So yeah, in conclusion, I have to say the RX300 is just a super practical, versatile, and just well-made vehicle. It's not something that impresses anybody. It's not something that turns any heads or anything, but I mean, I got this car for $3,200. It's 20 years old, and it still drives down the road like a cloud. It has enough power to pull things, carry things. It can go 110 miles an hour if it needs to. You know, it runs smooth at 90 miles an hour for hours and hours on end. So it has all the power, space, size that most people will need for a daily. And you can pick them up for pretty cheap, and they're usually in pretty good condition from what I've seen. I mean, they're not something that people really beat on too much. They're usually kind of elderly owned or family owned, and so I think they're a really good deal for something like this. The all-wheel drive, you know, it's not gonna take you up the Jeep trails or anything, but I've taken it on some dirt roads, back roads, gravel roads, just horrible pothole-filled roads. Speed bumps, all that kind of stuff. You hit a curb. There's so many cases in everyday driving and just, you know, exploring the countryside, like out here in Texas Hill Country, where having an all-wheel drive vehicle with some clearance is so much more useful and just so much more practical than having a normal sedan. And for most people, they don't necessarily need much more than that, though. I mean, if you don't plan on going on Jeep trails, this'll do fine. It rides over ice and snow pretty well. You know, this car spent the first like 19 years of its life in New York, so it does have a little bit of rust, but it also has a lot of experience in the snow, and it really doesn't show. You know, it's perfectly suited to that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little review of my 2002 RX300, and let me know if you have any questions. I think this is a great first car, great family car, and it definitely works as a great kind of low-key daily driver for someone who likes the old vintage look, the Lexus look, but, you know, doesn't want to spend a ton of money on repairs and all sorts of modifications. So, all right, take care.